No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. If you don't know what I'm freaking out about, I've seen them on Instagram. I've seen them on Twitter. I've seen them on Discord, and I've seen them on YouTube. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I am referring to this. These are leaked images of a new Bakugan line or new Bakugan series for Season 2 called Bakugan Armored Alliance. Now, yes, I'm excited that there are new Bakugan coming out, especially since that's in Nilius, and there's more detail about that thing I'll get in the later of this video. But it is amazing that we're getting new Bakugan already before the year even ends. Not, or at least hopefully. Maybe they'll come out during Christmas. I don't know. But what I do know is that, you see that? There's a hole on that Bakugan's back. And you know what? It draws a lot of concern. And I certainly hope that Spin Master has just released this leaked image and let it slide as a little prank, a little Halloween scare for all of the original Bakugan fans. Because if you are from the old Bakugan days, you'll understand that those prongs are bad news. Those little holes are bad news because of Baku-No and Battle Gear. Now, none of the newer fans will know this. Bakugan in the day. Oh, let me introduce you to one of the contenders of this old Bakugan thing that happened in the past. So, if you look at a Bakugan of today, they're round, they're spherical. Some have Altobranti's disease. I'll talk about Albranto's disease later. But later down the line, there were Bakugan from Gandalian Invaders, I think it was, or is it Mactinium Surge? I honestly don't know. I kind of stopped playing the game after New Vestroya and they released Trap Bakugan. I'll talk about Trap Bakugan later. But, yeah. Wait, what was I saying? Gandalian Invaders. So this is a Dragonoid from Gandalian Invaders way back when in the day. I forget what's the name of this Bakugan, I mean this Dragonoid specifically, but it is a Pyrus faction, I know that. And I know that for a fact because I not only have one, I have two, I have three, and I also have a Chaos one. The Chaos one was actually my first one, and then I got one of these as a gift, and then I got these other two from a friend recently in real life. But besides the point, let me get to why I am so worried and why I think everyone else should be worried. Something you might know on this Drago are these little prongs here. And you can't exactly see it initially, but you can see it on other old school Bakugan from Gandalian Invaders or Mactinium Surge. I forget where it's from. I forget this Bakugan's name, but you can see the little two prongs over here. And I forget this one's name as well, but I really appreciate its design now that I'm older and looking at it. Before I didn't like this Bakugan at all, but looking at it now, I kind of like it. Anyway, these little prongs were used for these. This is a battle gear, a piece of battle gear, I think. Like I said, I don't really recall these things too much. But essentially what they did was it allowed you to place a random piece of spring-loaded plastic onto your Bakugan like so. Okay, it's old and rusted shut. Okay, oh, there we go, and there we go. Sorry, it's old and closed shut. So it basically just lets you plonk a piece of spring-loaded plastic and equip it to your Bakugan. Now, yes, it looks kind of cool, but also kind of like a little too much now that I look at it when I'm older and understand games more. So to a kid, I understand this would look really cool, and it sounds really awesome and really power-hungry for any kid who wants to win a Bakugan game. But these things were atrocious. Because it just straight up made the game pay to win. Because you could plonk this on and it just gives an extra 70G or 70B in the new game, I guess. But that would immediately put this Bakugan up to 720B or 720G as the old school players call it. But if I equipped this to my my Pyrus Dragonoid over here, the old school one, you have to kind of take his wings down a bit. If I had this equipped to my Dragonoid, I don't think you could equip it to Dragonoid. Like there were rules to say what could equip what to where. But if I did, this would immediately make this Dragonoid 870G or 870B. That is ludicrous numbers, insanely outrageous numbers, which were a big cause of Bakugan's downfall 10 years ago. Because the simple fact that they kept, well, Spin Master, or whoever was in charge of Bakugan back then, I can't remember, I was like 8 years old, kept adding on so many different things to Bakugan that just made it a big power creep game. Things like Trap Bakugan, which essentially, I have a Bakugan, hold on. Here, I have a trap with me here. They're essentially just Bakugan you could plonk onto a gate card. Old school Bakukors, by the way, gate cards. Ask your grandparents, maybe they'll understand it. These things could like actually take on elements, I think, of other Bakugan typings. Like this is Aquas on the front. Old Aqua symbol, by the way. And I think it could take on like Darkus or Subterra or Pyrus, and then add on G-Power to your existing Bakugan on the gate card. Again, I can't remember how to play the old game with these things specifically. I only remember the very first game, how to play that perfectly well. These things were kind of vague to me because I didn't have many Trap Bakugan. Because like this, and these two other Trap Bakugan were given to me recently by a friend as well. The only Trap Bakugan I ever owned were the parts for Max-S Dragonoid, and that's just because I really wanted a Max-S Dragonoid because of the old TV show and how amazing looking Max-S Dragonoid was. Max-S Dragonoid was the best. But a massive power creep of a toy, and that's just it. It is a toy. Okay, I feel like that sounds a little confusing, but let me explain a bit here. Those prongs on that new Bakugan are, I want to say they're the same prongs used for Baku-Nano. Now, I never got into Baku-Nano. I don't even have a Bakugan that has the holes for this or a Baku-Nano piece. Baku-Nano, whatever. You get what I mean. Old school players will understand what I'm saying. And they were essentially just little pieces of weaponry you could attach to a Bakugan instead of this hulking behemoth of a thing over here. And also, I'm sorry, this is the only one I have left after my good old days. I used to have Drago's battle gear just for decoration because I really liked how it looked as a kid. But I realize now that I'm older that it was disgusting. Anyway, I'm sorry if I'm triggering anyone from the Alien Invaders or anything like that. I'm going to put that out there. I just really hated it for the reasons I'm going to say now. Bakugan is not supposed to be a toy thing. Yes, it can be a toy thing very much for kids. I mean, the old school Bakugan sold a bunch of gimmick items to kids that made them feel like a battle brawler. I get that. That's something they would do because it's targeted to kids that were 8 or 9 years old at the time. But now old school Bakugan fans are 18 to 22 and over. They are mature enough to understand how Bakugan can be properly played with proper strategy. Newer fans can as well. I mean, I play with some pretty younger kids, and they are actually good at the card game. A lot of the really younger ones only want to play the simple 3 Bakugan and 6 cores, but besides the point. Bakugan, like I'm trying to get across here, is a card game, a trading card game with a skill mechanic involving rolling your character onto a core to then play with them. I mean, this deck profile here, a video I made a while back, I've used that deck against some pretty strong Bakugan, mind you, and it's actually surprisingly won. I kid you not. 4 out of 5 battles I've won with that deck that I made from scratch with Wave 1 and I think 2 Bakugan. There might be Wave 3 in there. No, it was just Wave 1 and 2, I think. Yeah, Wave 1 and 2, and Wave 1 and 2 cards. Nothing more, nothing less. I didn't spend a massive amount of money on them. Well, I did compared to US terms, but I didn't spend a massive amount of money on them in regards to what you can get with it. And that deck so far is winning 4 out of 5 battles for me on standard whenever I play against someone, because of most of the time I'll either miss or my Bakugan will misroll, but majority of the time it's a winning deck. I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I'm actually really impressed with that deck. But whatever. That just shows that you can slap whatever kind of like strong end Bakugan you want out there. Another person can come along with pretty basic Bakugan and really good cards that they got from pulling cards because it's a card game and destroy you. And I know this because it happened to me when I lost cards accidentally while taking damage, and I missed the cards that I really needed to try and win against what my opponent had. I can't recall exactly what happened, but I don't know. I'm sorry, but I sound like I'm rambling. I'm trying not to. Sorry, I had to put this core there to keep the Drago there, and it's kind of sticking. Anyway, I'm not too professional about this because, like I said, I stopped playing Bakugan more or less when Traps came along, but I was still a fan of Bakugan. I still love them, and also another key factor in this is in this video here, I was talking about how I was kind of bullied that I liked Bakugan by even my friends. Friends, I say in air quotes now that I realize how toxic people can be. I was kind of bullied by them for liking Bakugan, so I didn't get Bakugan, and New Vestroya was a thing when that was happening. So that's another factor. And that's kind of sad now that I think about it. But whatever. I understand the struggles when it came to things like Bakugear and Baku-No, because it essentially just made it a pay-to-win game, and no one wants that. I mean, I understand a lot of people were extremely worried when Dragonoid Maximus hit the shelves, but then we realized that it's a pretty bad Bakugan when it comes to playability, because another person can easily win. Even with me going with my deck that I had before, I'm pretty sure I can try and win against it, but I am kind of scared just seeing one of those things in reality. Anyway, that Bakugan, Dragonoid Maximus, is a good Bakugan on its own, kind of, but to actually use it properly, you need the cards to play it properly, and that can kind of be hard to get, which balances it out. But when you bring things that just add random G power or B power, like Baku-No or Battle Gear, you end up destroying what you've created, which is a card game involving skill-based rolling. Because remember, without you practicing and getting the perfect roll on a Bakugan, you are as good as dead in the water. Because without landing your Bakugan, you can't play any cards. Unless it's a stop card or a minus damage card or whatever like that. You have to land your Bakugan to do any damage. And I think if you just adding this Battle Gear stuff onto Bakugan now, it's going to ruin it. And that could just be my opinion, but I know for a fact, majority, if not everyone in the old Bakugan community was terrified when these pictures came out on RXXXC's channel. Link in the description, by the way. That guy, if it wasn't for him seeing these photos, I wouldn't be making this video in the first place. And another shout out just quickly here. Like I said, I am no professional in this exactly, but if you want a proper full explanation and real inspirational speech on why Bakugan is so fun as it is now, and without all these extra add-ons, go to Jet Kuso, another channel I'm listing in the description down below. He is by far my favorite Bakutuber ever. I think he's by far the best. Far surpasses me. Far surpasses other Bakutubers. I'm so sorry for everyone else who's a Bakutuber. I love you all. But Jet Kuso is by far my favorite of all. He did a really amazing analysis on Bakugan, why it's so fun, and why it's so fun and what ruined it, what caused its downfall, and what he thinks and believes. And I agree with it. And I agree with him every step of the way with what he said. With Bakugan starting off amazingly fun, simple, but fun. Simple because the target market at that time was 8 to 9 year olds. But the target market of today is anyone from 8 to 9 years old all the way up to 18 and 22 years old. It's a complex enough of a game that you don't need to make it a pay-to-win game by adding plastic. The way Jakuso explained it is that Bakugan went from a good, fun, and simple game to something that was overcomplicated and made you carry around a bucket of spring-loaded plastic in order to play the game. Not even win the game, just play the game. Because newer Bakugan came out, their B power or G power was way higher. You had Battle Gear and Bakugear coming out that just destroyed anything you played. You could have the highest G or B power Bakugan out there, roll onto a card or a core, and then they just slap on one of these things, slap down a trap Bakugan, slap down a Baku-No, and they've won. It was infuriating to think about. I never played it, but to think about it, it would be infuriating. Because if they just had that extra bit of money to buy one of these things, and they got lucky, because G-Power and stuff like that, the old B-Power, was randomized on Bakugan. You could get a Bakugan like this one, which has got, I don't think you can see that, it's got 800G or 800B, and I know one of these has got like 740 and the other one's got 750, and I think my house one's also got 750. It was random, so you could get a really good one and then just destroy your opponents. And that to me seems very unfair. So to see these prongs just suddenly on a Bakugan that's been leaked out for the new Armored Alliance terrifies me beyond belief. Anyway, I'm going to leave that off there. But something else I want to point out is that, one second, this is another old school Dragonoid. It's the Dragonoid that came with the Maxis Dragonoid set. And basically what Dragonoid Maximus was, Maxis Drago, it was a Dragonoid with 6 additional trap Bakugan attached to its body. It was 6, right? Yeah, it was 6 Bakugan. And this was one of them. I forget its name. But if you look on the back of this Drago, you see a little hook thing. And if you look on this Bakugan, you see a little hook thing. And you look on Drago here, he's got one of those little holes. Now this wasn't for any Baku-No or Battle Gear or anything like that. This was to attach Drago to this Bakugan as a sort of support, because you would lock the head down, you would close the wings, and there you have suddenly like waist for the Drago, because there would be other Bakugan for legs and arms, because he's got 2 other holes there, and this is the tail for the Dragonoid. So this brings me to my next topic I'm going to talk about quickly. The fact that if you look closely on the box for this new leaked Nilius for Armored Alliance, it's got something special about it. It's not mechanical. If you look at Nilius now, he looks like a robot, a big giant robot with big giant wind turbines on his wings. But if you look at the photo in this picture over here, he is organic. He has actual wings, actual muscles. Looks a little mechanical, but that could just be the scales of a dragon talking, but he looks more organic than machine. Looks more meat than machine. So what I think could be the case is we're not looking at a case of Baku-No, because if you look on the Nilius, there are other holes on the body besides the back. I think there were some on the arms. He's got like little nubbly arms, and there's like holes over there by his elbow, I think there was. I can't be sure. The photos are going to be on screen for you guys to see. But you see those little holes? What could be a thing is that we're going to be seeing another Maxis Drago or Maxis Nilius or whatever the case may be, where we get a bunch of additional Bakugan, hopefully ball Bakugan, because there was another Bakugan that was kind of like Maxis Dragonoid, but the evil version. He was based on a Helios, another old school Bakugan. That was half machine, half Bakugan. But that Bakugan was built up of a bunch of round Bakugan balls that would unfold and fuse with that Helios Bakugan to make a big suited Bakugan like Maxis Dragonoid. So what we could see is a case like that, where we have ball Bakugan that we roll into a core, we open them up, and we get to attach them to the Nilius or the Dragonoid to make one big Bakugan. I honestly don't know, and I don't want to think about it because it brings back bad memories of power creep, and it's a bad idea. I know you can sell it to make more money, Spin Master, but you're legitimately scaring all of us. And I hope I speak for everyone when I say that you are scaring everyone. And I think another big reason we're all scared is because of the symbolism you're putting out in front of us. Because it's called Armored Alliance, which means there's going to be some gear or armor involved. And that could easily be Battle Gear. It could be Baku-No. It could be fusing Bakugan with Trap Bakugan or core Bakugan to make a big mechanical suit of armor for a Bakugan. And I mean, the logo itself, look at the sorry, it's called. Look at the Armor Alliance logo, and look at the old Bakugan Alien Invaders logo where they brought in all this stuff. And you start to see why I'm worried. And I honest to goodness hope that other bigger Bakutubers, people like Jakuso, other people like Ilanuk, I hope they all cover this thing. It is terrifying to worry about. Yes, Spin Master can make money from it. They can sell it to younger kids. But if you're gonna apply this for both versions of the game, because there is 2 versions to play the game. There's a kid version and there's a higher end card game. The normal kid version, you just have 3 Bakugan, 6 cores, you roll them, you add up the B power on them, and the one with the 3 wins the game. That's simple, it's easy, it's understandable. You could sell Baku-No toys or whatever, armor pieces or whatever you want to do to apply to that game specifically, because then it gives the kids, you know, like if they land on, where's the core I had? Here. If they land on one of these where minus is 200B and they're only 50B away from winning, you could slap on a Baku gear or Baku-No, whatever you want, to give them an extra 80B or whatever the case may be, or 100B or 50B or I don't know. Just make it so that it's targeted towards kids, because kids will eat that stuff up. I'm not trying to be mean to them, but I'm saying they will generally eat it up because kids prefer toys more than games. That's a lie. They might like games more. I don't want to generalize anymore. But I know that the younger audience, the older audience will be heavily pushed away by this. It's exciting to think of new Bakugan. I love this new Nilius, by the way. The design of it, the organic design. I want to see organic Bakugan. I didn't like a robotic Bakugan to begin with. I hated it with a passion, but I love Bakugan, so I got into it anyway. And to see organic Bakugan come back is exciting for me. Baku-No, not so much. But if there were a way to implement Baku-No to the complex card game, I would just make a new card type, for example. I don't know, instead of flip, hero, evo, action cards, and character cards being a thing, why don't you have all those 5 plus 1 equipped card or item card, or something like from Pokemon, for example. You could attach cards that make the Pokemon take less damage when they're being attacked. You could say you play a card like a hero card or similar, but it attaches to a Bakugan specifically, and then that Bakugan doesn't take so much damage or will do more damage or has some special effect revolving around that card, but it's got titles like the Battle Gear weapons or the Baku-No weapons or wherever you want. Just please, Spin Master, I beg you. And I know my pleading cry is nothing compared to the kind of feedback you can get from fans across the world or bigger people than me. I understand that. But I seriously am worried. And I hope I speak for a lot of other people, or majority, if not all, of the older fans that are genuinely scared when they saw these photos. Excited, but scared. So anyway, I'm going to remind you guys again about the 2 channels I'm listing in the description down below. One being RXXC that released the whole leaks that I saw. That was my original source for seeing them. And Jakuso, an absolutely amazing Bakutuber, and by far I think the best Bakutuber, who gave an amazing speech and explanation for the original Bakugan and its fall, and why Traps, Battle Gear, Baku-No, and all that were just a complete horrible mistake. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you do want to see more, subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified about new videos when they come out. I will be releasing videos again every Wednesday, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!